Hi, this is Alex Coulomb, and just excited to take a quick look at the VR demo of the Immersive Light Field video with a layered mesh representation, SIGGRAPH 2020 paper presented by Michael Broxton, John Flynn, Ryan Overbeck, Daniel Erickson, Peter Hedman, Matthew Duvall, Jason Durgarian, Jay Bush, Matt Whalen, and Paul Debevec. Some of these people, of course, were involved with the original Light Fields demo, which is still available on the Steam store. Welcome to Light Fields 2016. See my original tour of that in the description below. But just very excited to check this out today because what you get from the WebGL videos, you don't quite understand until you're actually in VR. Because what's happening here is you have, just like the Light Fields demo, this kind of meter by meter box that you can move your head around in, but now it's video. So this is actually playing back. It's probably about 30 frames per second, but I think it feels okay in here. And it's incredibly realistic. Like if you're in that sweet spot, it just feels like you are in this space. But then when things get really interesting, which you do not get from those WebGL videos, is when you start to look at the seams, when you start to look at the edges, where you get this really Inception-like effect of reality breaking down, including where you just see these little fringe elements, like, little parts of a tree, or in some cases it almost looks like clouds or the wind. And to see that breakdown is so fascinating, and it just gets you thinking about how our senses work. Because again, from that particular area where you can lean your head and everything, you're seeing what may as well be real life. And then to just start to see a few artifacts and then get closer and closer to the edge and see everything break down is pretty remarkable. So there's a few great scenes in here I really like. I wish we could play this back at a slower speed too, but I think the frame rate just isn't quite high enough for that yet. I did talk to Paul at one point about whether they would be able to get a higher frame rate here, and he did say that is something they're working on. So for now, it's just an incredibly accurate depiction of reality. And I'm very excited, of course, to see the goats here. I happen to have two goats myself, so it's pretty fun to see this particular demo as part of the experience. And of course, there's also a dog here and all these different animals that gets you thinking, of course, about how incredible it would be to capture memories and children and anything that you'd want to archive in this incredibly realistic way. Like, this is a preservation of a memory more than anything that I've ever seen in my entire life before. So just incredibly powerful technology. And I'd love to see the way this could also start to be used from an artistic perspective. There's something about the potential of how something like this could come together for, I want to say anything from an immersive theater piece to an art installation to even, like, I want to say brain research, and starting to, again, going back to how realistic this is, using these kinds of scenes for anything from treating dementia or Alzheimer's, to also just starting to understand more how the brain works. Because I feel like since you can essentially trick a brain into feeling like this is reality, more so than I'd say anything else I've ever seen in virtual reality before, there's an opportunity here to really start to have studies where you have duplicate experiences in a way that the real world can't quite produce. I'm really speculating here, but these are some of the things that are coming to mind as I think about what I'm seeing here. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check this out yet, I highly recommend it. Again, the WebGL demos, which I'll also link to below, give you a pretty good sense of how the technology is working, but the experiential part of this you really only get from actually putting on a VR headset and moving your head around and watching these play back. It's pretty remarkable. I kind of want to go and make a video game or something that's entirely centered around using a few of these scenes in some kind of meaningful way. So those are my initial thoughts. If you have any yourself, please do put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think, especially if you get a chance to check it out for yourself in VR. And if you have any questions, I am most easily reached on Twitter at iBrews. And thanks for checking this out. Have a good day.